Hi, this is Jennifer Brown reporting from Vegas. I wanted to go over something in regards to a conversation that I was involved in with last night. And that is where it was brought up that they didn't think that the big social media tech giants would ever be shut down because they're too large and because they're international. I wanted to make 4 points as to why they will be shut down. Number one, human trafficking and satanic ritual abuse is being advertised on Facebook, Twitter, and people who are exposing these things, such as YouTube channels or YouTube videos, they are being singled out, and those accounts are being tipped off, and they are shut down for violations against freedom of speech. So you also have some civil lawsuits which are going after Facebook and Twitter and YouTube for genocide. Let me explain why. When you're advertising Hollywood stars to be able to advertise to get these children or advertise the crimes that they did against these children. They're also social media, Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. All three of them are complicit in taking certain citizens of the United States and around the globe and sending them to their rogue intelligence apparatus within their countries. And those rogue outfits or deep state outfits in those countries are manufacturing files to be sent up to a higher secret kangaroo court, which is torturing their own citizens. Okay? Censorship has taken on a completely new definition. Now, I will tell you, to be in this position, you have to be very, very knowledgeable, very, very smart, and you have to be a huge threat to the deep state in exposing their special access projects, which are being used to take us down within. Okay? As the NASA Future of War PDF states that came out of Langley, everything will be weaponized, including your clothing. And most of the stuff will be rolled out as a Trojan horse, and all deaths associated with such systems will be covered by the deep state through its media outlets. And this will be done through pay-to-pay systems. So the ones that are in trouble for pay-to-play systems are Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Google, because they are being paid by the deep state to A, advertise for human trafficking, B, to be able to go on Twitter and Facebook and brag about the ones that they've killed and or the ones that they want to be with or have already been with, as far as the Hollywood rogue pedophile people are concerned. It's also being used to pull all the dissenters together around the world to push them into the torture program and mind control programs, which are inundated throughout the world, to go after political dissidents and torture those people remotely from a distance via radiation deployment to harm those citizens. Now, what is the Great Awakening? The Great Awakening is about all those things I just told you and us getting it out worldwide. So you hold your hand up if you think that a government such as the United States is going to get all of this out and then just say, oh, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Can I see your hand, please? Smack. Slap on the hand, right? Okay, you owe us a fine. Do you really think that the American people or anyone from around the world, when this Great Awakening goes internationally, is going to allow Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and Google to be up and running? I don't think so. This is not an atypical situation as in the past where they just got a fine, or they said you've got to, or we said you got to follow the law. You're not a publisher. You can't publish it as a publisher to censor and squash dissent and freedom of speech. That's the thing that most people think that social media giants are sought after for illegal activities. No, they are in trouble for RICO. accessory to murder, crimes against humanity, okay, and things of this nature. And if you think that we're going to allow the citizens and or United States is going to allow those companies to own and operate, to and not get shut down when they had the full intent all along for the past 45 years to do these things, it's not going to happen. I mean, after the citizens find out themselves, it's like my boyfriend said, they'd end up, causing a revolution just to go after him to take him down. There's not going to be a revolution. You don't have to worry about that. We are taking down the deep state, as most QAnons know. As Robert David Steele said, most of them have already been tried and have been sentenced at Guantanamo Bay. And we have thousands upon thousands and thousands of resignations throughout the world, part of this pay-to-play, part of this censorship, part of this RICO organized crime, part of these treasonous activities and human trafficking and satanic ritual abuse called SRA. There's no way at all that these social media platforms and big tech giants are going to survive. They know this. It's not going to happen. So this has been a plan that's been planned, the Q movement, for over 20 years. And they have put all contingency plans into place. And they have other social media platforms to put into place. They know what the people like. They know what the people are used to. They know. So one of the things the only thing that I'm worried about is that we don't get a social media platform where you can design different pages outside of your own profile. That's what I'm looking for. And as well as want to make sure that with the YouTube video platforms that we're allowed not to only just have our account, but again, do social or do a playlist. Because this is how a lot of activists, get out their content. Like with my Facebook pages, I put them under subject matter, and then I provide supporting corroborative evidence backing up my claims, on the problem at hand. It's usually a soft kill system that I'm exposing, okay? And there's thousands of them, by the way, all again under play to pay. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys understood that these are crimes against humanity. These are organized crimes. These are crimes where people are dying and being tortured and killed and placed in harm's way because the social media giants are actually turning these people in to their rogue country's intelligence apparatus so that they can manufacture files against these individuals, these innocent citizens who are really, really in the know, about these special access programs and or whistleblowers from the intelligence community. Freedom of speech, we don't have that right now in this country. And from what I just told you, it should be crystal clear as to how bad it's gotten. So most of you don't believe that there's human trafficking going on. You're putting in the chuck it, fuck it basket. You don't believe that any stars have been indicted. You're putting that in the chuck it, fuck it basket. And you don't think that any resignations worldwide has happened. You don't think that the Vatican's going to get in trouble that's running these operations, helping with these operations, and or those involved in England. But this problem, guys, goes all the way from the United States all the way around the world, okay? And I will be honest with you, I feel and believe that the main apparatus in spreading this black plague disease, if you will, this blackness across the globe has been our rogue CIA. Because we are the one who taught the rest of the world how to do this to their political dissidents. Do you understand? And with Epstein Island and Maxine Glasswell, whatever her name is, that one, or Glasswell, the one that got arrested. I think her name is well, I know it's Glasswell, but anyway, she is ratting everybody out. Epstein, listen, guys, Epstein is not dead. He is tucked away in a private prison. Robert David Steele, I believe, was correct on that. And not only that, but we had corroboration from other sources that said that there would be security on Epstein tighter than just as much as the president. And they're going to do the same thing for Glasswell, his sidekick, his partner. These guys were responsible in blackmailing the world's elite for human trafficking and the satanic ritual abuse to continue. They throw elaborate, lavish parties and horrible, horrible satanic abuse rituals with kids at Epstein Island. Now, as Robert David Steele said, there are 50 more other cells such as Epstein. Right now, to date, we have 1 million pieces of evidence of all those involved with Epstein. We have the flight logs, we have their texts, their emails, their pictures from doing horrible acts with these children in the tunnels and the underground systems that they had underneath Epstein's Island. Even Catalina Island was one of the places off of California that was used, that had tunnels where these kids were slaved and caged. So I do want you to know that we are extracting the kids as we speak. Even in my state, we're inundated with constitutionalists within the military that are helping to save these children. For the most part, from what I understand, most of them have already been rescued. Many of them, I sadly have to report, have died. This is what a lot of the ventilators were for, because the air pressure quality is so different way down below. It's like kind of like when you submerge from a, kind of like the movie Abyss. Remember when the guys were in the submarine and they had to get in the decompression chamber because of the pressures were so intense and coming back up to service? Well, it's the same thing with these kids, and many of them died on the way up. How horrific is the situation with the kids? Well, they had been bound and they'd been caged and they were electrocuted, and they used mind control experiments on them, which they're very advanced right now, guys. They can do mind control from a distance. That means just like a remote control, and it's done through a radiation deployment. There's two types that they're using in the United States. One is for the ones who are tortured, that's voice to skull. That's to keep them up for days on end, and they're tortured on top of that, and it gives them a good suicide. So it's a fingerprintless crime. The other one is for the ones, anyone that's on contract with the deep state. They are hit, as soon as they sign onto that contract, they're hit with radiation deployment to the brain 24/7. So this is to keep them in compliance with the assignments that they're going to be given, to make sure that they don't rat out, have feelings of remorse or regret or shame, and or empathy toward the target that they're going after and trying to target. So there's the update. It's not just bad. This COVID thing is all a bunch of bull crap. It's a bunch of lies. It's the deep state's, again, agenda. It's all clearly stated in the NASA Future of War PDF that came out of CIA Langley. Well, it's everybody knows that most of the Langley out there is the CIA headquarters, but there's also divisions there. This document came off the NASA website. The link is still there, but it's inoperable. But I will tell you this, even though there's 200 military systems, bioweapons, directed energy weapons stated that will be used against citizens of the world, it doesn't even clearly state that it's going to be just political distance. It says citizens of the world. Okay? And I guess mind control is going to be a big factor of it, because if you have people under mind control, you can control who gets elected, you can keep your deep state puppets in play, and blah, 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 right? So it's gotten bad. COVID was just another means from which to financially corrupt this country. Fauci is going to go to prison for lying to the people. It's all going to come out. They're putting anything and everything, even a bum leg, a broken toe, a cancer death, anything under COVID. There are people on pay-to-play that want to take this country down with them because they're making money in doing so. Do you understand what I'm saying? And there's millions upon millions in the U.S. and around the world that are assisting with this effort. As they say, the United States is the last refuge of freedom. And if they can take us down, we're the last ones standing, you see. We're it. So this crap about wearing your mask to get in, we have a law that we can enforce. But these employers, they truly feel that they can call the cops immediately and have you 86 from the property, even if you pull out this thing about COVID, and that it's against HIPAA, and that you have upper respiratory problems, and that you do not have to comply. Because basically what's happening, it's tyrannical. It's to put fear into you, which is how deep state runs. Fear, 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 fear. We got to go into war. Fear. If we don't, we're going to be taken down by the terrorists. Fear. The terrorists are those from within. All wars, as Robert David Steele has stated, all wars were pushed and funded on both sides. You guys have been deceived. You got to understand that 98% of your media has been deep state play-to-play puppets and fully controlled by CIA. So what you're getting is CIA narrative. At 4 a.m., all outlets across the United States are given their narrative, the big lie, but they're to push on you within the next 24 to 48 hours, period. Through talk show host, in the morning talk show host, afternoon talk shows, Nightline, and not Nightline, but shows like Nightline, similar to Nightline, like news magazines, commercials. The propaganda is deep to promote fear tactics of either why we have to go into war or why you should be afraid of this man-made biological weapon. And yes, COVID was a man-made biological weapon to serve this purpose. They're trying to sustain the elections. They're wanting to move in mail-in ballots so that they can cheat. IDs are going to be required to vote, guys. And if you do something by mail, you need to have it notarized and show that ID. They've been cheating for years through mail-in ballots. Hell, we've had more dead people vote, practically almost more than citizens that we have in the United States. It's been bad. And it's all happened under your watch, as everyone's so easy to throw everything in the chuck it, fuck it basket. I don't give a shit. I'm not responsible. I'm not going to look it up. Well, and because of that, for 45 years, because you've been sticking with the news media that you love and trust, it's been blowing smoke up your ass every day, which is deception, which is lies, which is manipulation. You've been going out in there, in the community, with your families and your churches and your workplace, spreading the lie. Well, that's misinformation. Anyone who spreads misinformation, I don't give a shit if you're the big elephant in the room, the most popular in your country, the ones who all formulate and have the same ideological belief systems of what you're learning through your media. If your news media conglomerate in your country by 99% is lying to you, you're nothing but conspiracy theorist, because you're spreading the conspiracy. You're not brought in to what's really going in. You're not in the know. You're not being read in to what's really going on. You are being deceived. You're being used as a deep state pawn. So even though you're not on pay to play, in essence, you are one of the reasons that they are so successful today and doing all these crimes against humanity, helping them go to wars, and pushing the COVID scares or biological scares. So when you think that you were being told the truth, you couldn't be further deceived that you could ever imagine. So Fuji is going to go to prison for lying to everyone. All these actors and stars who are involved in these human rights violation crimes will be taken down. Most of them already been hung. And if they're involved in deceiving our people and or using these social media outlets, as they have been, to target innocent Americans and other citizens around the world, which they have been doing for 45 years, that Facebook account, Twitter account, and YouTube will be shut down. These are crimes against humanity. Okay? The RICO, organized crimes, international crimes against humanity, and all considered a hangable offenses, whether it be from psychological, trained psyops through group form or punking like they do that show Punked. Okay, that's an example, right? Whether it's those two factions or human rights violations or allowing the pedophiles to advertise and brag about the ones that they've harmed on Facebook and Twitter. Yeah, they're allowing those accounts to be open, but the ones who are getting out the truth about these, they're getting their accounts shut down. That's treason, guys. It's organized crime. It ain't going to happen. They are not going to survive. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter will be taken down. Look at it this way. If I was a mom and I had a website and I promoted everyone that did crimes against humanity, against children, and was involved in satanic ritual abuse, and I bragged on that site, and all my friends on that site bragged about it, do you think that CPS wouldn't want me to shut that down? I mean, I know they're a bad entity, but just think about it. Do you think that any psychiatrist, any judge, anyone, anywhere would allow my website to stay open? No. Because it's being used for illegal activity and crimes against humanity. Period. End of story. It wouldn't be a damn fine. You think I'd get a slap on the hand? No, I'd go to prison, hang from a rope, and the site would be shut down. It's the same thing. These corporations that feel that they have been getting by with crimes and murders against and crimes against humanity, they may have for 45 years because they're all incorporated. And they've been hiding behind the incorporation laws so that they don't get taken down because they're considered having the same individual rights as a human being. Well, screw you. It ain't happening no more. Those days of wine and roses are over. Do you understand? You guys will go down. And I don't give a shit if CIA, DARPA, and J-Trig sock puppets from sock puppet companies from England are fucking in control of Facebook or not. You ain't gonna have a snow goddamn balls chance of staying online. Do you understand me? And Twitter, neither are you. And Google, you can just kiss our ass goodbye and forget about Dragonfly, fucker. You ain't gonna do shit, bitch. You can go over to China and you can side with them because that's what the fuck you've been doing in the first goddamn place. We're tired of this shit. Citizens of the world want our freedom back. We want our abilities to tell the truth without getting censored, without having our Facebook pages and Twitters and YouTube accounts taken down. And we want to have the ability to protect our children, both in the America and internationally. How dare you using these platforms to promote satanic ritual abuse and human rights violations and torture and death and crimes against the children and citizens of the world. Fuck you. You can suck our butts. It ain't happening no more. The fear of God should be wrapped up into your top CEOs right now. A lot of you are going to go to prison and hang from a rope for this shit. This is really serious shit. I don't give a damn whether you participated in the satanic ritual abuse or the torture or the mind control of these people who have been targeted because of your factions, because of your companies. I don't give a damn. But what I'm telling you is this. You're still going down. You cannot do this shit. And this publishing thing, we had rules and regulations from which your platforms were supposed to run. And publishing was not one of them that you were allowed to do. Publishing, under publishing, you act like a newspaper outlet. And you can kick out and control what content and comments come onto your platforms. And get rid of people's Facebook pages and Twitters and YouTube accounts. Under publishing, that is not how you're supposed to do it. That is not allowed with social media accounts. It's supposed to be free, independent, unbiased, anyone, free speech, zones, and free speech allowed, rather. It's for everyone to speak freely. And that's what you advertised in the very goddamn beginning. But that's not what the hell you've been doing, is it? But it's way more nefarious than that, isn't it, guys? If you're working for Facebook, YouTube, and Google, I'd look for another fucking job if I were you. You better save every damn dime you've got because they're not going to last. Better get your resumes together for those that weren't at the very top of the CEOs. and surrounding the CEOs and whatnot. For those of you who are just average employers and didn't know that all this was going on, I don't see how you could have, because many of you were required to take down the Facebook pages, the Twitter accounts, and the YouTube accounts. Think of the millions, guys, the millions around the world where activists and whistleblowers have gotten out what I've gotten out, and or worse, and those accounts that have been shut down. It's organized crime, it's treason, it's crimes against humanity, and it's also illegal how you've been running under the publishing aspect of running your social media platforms, which is not allowed because you are not supposed to censor any free speech coming in, none, unless it's about someone saying I'm going to murder someone. Which is really seriously, or that, or someone that's reported that they are getting ready or have already. But you've even been allowing that to go on Twitter with your Hollywood stars, your pedos, talking and bragging about and showing, using code words like FBI has them. There's code words. They use food code words involving ingredients that you would put on a pizza. But it's registered with the FBI. This is not bullshit. Kevin Schiff goes over it, CIA, former CIA. Robert David Steele, former CIA, goes over it. Q movement goes over it. That's 5 million people or more involved in that sector. I think 500 million. But yeah, anyway, I'm wrong on the numbers. I just can't remember. But it's in the millions. I do know that. So you want to follow someone who knows, someone who news that you can trust. Try Nightly News with YouTube channel X22 Report. You want to know what's really going on with the updates of these horrible fucking actors that are doing this shit to all of us, because we're all being targeted right now. You are being psychologically psyoped right now with the COVID. You are being pushed around and told what to do, where you can go, where you can eat, where you can stay, and how you can do it, and how far and close so you can walk with one another. It's bullcrap. All of it's bullcrap. Go to qmap.pub. qmap.pub. Find out who your people are, your traitors. Find out who the ones that are, how many indictments there are. Find out about the resignations. Find out who is a white hat and trying to take down these deep state rogue factions, and find out who the deep state players are. Learn about what's happened in the last 45 years. You guys, if you want to be deceived, I just can't even fathom at this point, with you losing your rights right now, as I have. I'm an 8-year survivor of human rights abuses. I'm one of the activists that's targeted when it has my file sent at FISA. What's happening to you is a psychological psyop. What's happening to you is misinformation being blown up your Kulu, okay? And your submission is you losing your freedoms and your rights and your liberties, all based on fraudulent claims. We know that the sun kills it, the COVID virus, the warm air kills it, as well as hydrochlorine, that medicine that they lied and said that it wasn't going to work. Yeah, it does work. But quite frankly, I have to admit, they want you dead as of yesterday. They haven't wanted you here for a long goddamn time. And this is why everybody is on this pay-to-play. This is why these deep state governors are, catching the Antifa terrorists and releasing them back into the community, because they want you dead as yesterday. They want your businesses burnt down. They want you out of here. They want you to cower in fear. They want you to riot. They want you to start a revolution. This is not what the white hats want. They do not want a revolution. They want they've been quietly for the past 2 years doing special ops and arresting these people and trying them at Guantanamo Bay, at the military tribunals. When Lindsey Graham asked Kavanaugh about enemy combatants and whether or not they could be tried. He said, well, there are specific times with enemy combatants, which equals domestic terrorist, where the Supreme Court would allow us to have military tribunals and deal with these enemy combatants. That is the Supreme Court law of the land. And when you have justice systems within the United States, as they're so corrupt from the bottom up to the top down, it really truly is the only way you're going to get your justice. But don't think that we don't have the evidence, and don't think that you're not going to see all of this stuff on television, because you are. There are reporters that have been reporting every day, 24, every time that court is open, they've been there. And that all the confessions are being videotaped. The world is going to see. This is the biggest fear of the mainstream media. They don't want you to wake up, because once you wake up, there's no more going back and putting everything in the chuck it fuck it basket. Do you understand? Those days will be over. It'll be about, oh my God, I'm going to keep myself abreast of what's going on, really going on. I'm going to be seeking truth, because I'm going to protect my little girl and my teenager, my son, and my college student, because I don't want them signed up with these programs. Because many of you sign up with these programs, you're tortured with radiation 24/7 to the brain. It's a deployment system to control your thoughts and to keep you, put you in a narcissistic state. Basically, that's the goal of it. So, and I know you don't want your kids stolen anymore. I know you're tired of your kids getting abducted and all of that. So, and your rights being violated, and you being killed every which way to Christmas, from Big Pharma to the secret kangaroo courts there, of all the deaths that's happened with it, and them allowing the medicine to still be on the market. And then, of course, gag orders being placed, so you don't know how you're being killed and which ones are safe or not. See, and of course, media is not going to tell you either, because they're on pay to play. They cannot report weapons of volumetric lethality. They are part of taking you down from within. You better wise up. You better turn your damn television off and go to sources that are connected with intelligence apparatus way above CIA and FBI and NSA. Because that's what the Q movement is following, that and INSCOM. So if you want to know what's really going on and you really want to know the truth, go to qmap.pub, get caught up there, check out the Q drops. There's 4,000 of them. There's a lot of intel drops that have been pushed through there. Now, it's not complete intel drops as far as, there are matters of national security, so a lot of stuff is coded, but we have what we call decoders in Q, but most of it you can understand. And for the decodes of those posts, we have people like X22 Report, which will report on them on a daily basis. And they have a full lineup of all the past ones that they've done in the past with the titles of each one. So X22 Report, he's my favorite, as you can quite tell. He is very analytically literative. He does a very professional job in presenting the information. It's not an overload of information. And I would suggest that if you want a good nightly news source about the successes on how we are taking down the deep state and whom all is involved that we're arresting right now, because you're not going to believe some of the ones that we've put on pedestals all these years that were just sick individuals, narcissistic, murderous, sick individuals. So you guys, it's time to wake up, because, the human race is at the brink of extinction, because basically this is not just the United States issue. If you check out the NASA Future 4 PDF, that was to kill 90% of the world's populace by 2025. That's moved up to any day now, because these people don't want to get arrested under Trump's watch. Okay? But it's too late for that, quite frankly. Now, when John F. Kennedy Jr. comes out, and he will, he's already vice president. When he comes out, and he will, because Pence is a placeholder, he has dirt on him. And once he gets that indictment served, John will be taking his place. He was supposed to have come out yesterday, but there was a something happened and it wasn't safe for him, so he didn't come out. If he does come out, I believe he's going to do it safely in a more neutral situation, not with at the Republican Party event or an event like that, but he's going to do it on television. Okay? For the world to see. And I believe this is going to be during the 10 days of darkness. Now, don't forget that Executive Order 10095. This is to take down all modes of communications, especially the lying deep state terrorist organized crime media. You know what COG executive orders are designed for? Treason and domestic terrorist acts. So we have enough already, guys, to put all of them in play. And Trump just did that last month. He put 7 or I think 8 of them into play. Okay, and one of those is to take over all modes of communication: press, radio, print, film, internet. Okay? And if we need to shut you guys down completely with that executive order, that's exactly what we're going to do. And I promise you, that's exactly what the hell we're going to do. And you're not going to be able to make a peep, a lie, a misinformation campaign out of any outlet, by any means, by a phone conversation, by a text, by a tweet, by calling one of your friends, nothing. Because we will have control of your phones. You won't be able to make a call. The only thing you will be able to do is receive information, but you won't be able to call out. We've had it. We've had it. These executive orders have been on the books for a long goddamn time. A long, long time. But we didn't have the president in play to go on and put him and exercise these rights. So that's what's going on. You guys need to understand that. Executive Order 10095 to take over all modes of communication through internet, your phones, your television, and your radios. It's going to happen because we're tired of it. We're tired of the media saying everything's fake. Don't listen to that. Oh, because we're this big group over here into the millions. You shouldn't listen to this group into a couple of hundred. That's getting ready to be flipped, guys. And if you're not awoken and you're still supporting the satanic ritual abuse people and the crimes against humanity, those who did that, the stars and the politicians that were involved in that, you are going to be served up on a platter of the wrath of God that you won't even survive. I mean, if you don't eventually, come around and come to your senses and understand that these were horrible crimes against children, horrible things that happened to them, horrible things that happened to people in your communities. And you will be ostracized if you stay in this protecting them and wanting to stand with them, with the domestic terrorist. I'm just saying. So it's time that you start getting up off your little butts and research. Research is key, but you have to know where to research. I gave you those 2 sources. Let's start uniting, okay? And taking our country back. Because this is no longer about Democratic, Republican issues. It never was about that. It was about they wanted your ass gone as of yesterday. Why aren't you gone yet, bitch? That's what it was about. Do you understand? Sorry for the expletives, but I'm trying to reach some people over here, and it's gotten really serious. I mean, even some of the people that are Republicans don't even know how bad it's gotten because they're not following the Q movement. They're not following the intelligence. So, you know, you claim, most of you, claim that you make fun of the conspiracy theorists, which are people like me that know the know, and that we're just tinfoil hat, talking out of our ass, don't know, and spreading misinformation. It's actually you guys that are listening to the mainstream media that are very useful idiots to the deep state because you were being given the misinformation. You are their puppets. Without you, they would not have been able to continue their crimes against humanity. Without you, they would not be able to continue to promote their advertisement about hurting kids and the kids that they've harmed. Without you, protecting them, their media outlets, we would have never gotten the truth about the human rights violations that are being used against people. Without you, we would not have been able to have our liberties and our rights and our freedoms stompled on. And I say this because without you being silent, none of these things would have come to pass. Your submission into being silenced was key. But the con job and blowing smoke up your ass, making you think that the only thing that you were responsible for is going to work, making money, and buying things. Going to work, making money, and buying things, taking care of your families. That's it. And complying, watching your nightly dose of medicine, news, and parroting it out the next day. Along with all your concerts and your shows and your ball games and your other, irrelevant, fucking materialistic, stupid shit that we're so involved in. These are crimes against humanity, guys. These are crimes against humanity, crimes against children, crimes against our citizens and our communities. But I guarantee you right now, as it stands right now, it's so fucking bad right now that if you were to say I'm a victim of human rights violations, you will be spit at, you'll be mocked at, you'll be laughed at, and you'll be thrown to the wolves. Because you have been so brainwashed, and your reporter hasn't told you that, or your journalist, or your favorite news magazine, or your favorite talk show host, and your commercials are all saying differently. I've educated you as to why that's happening. I'm going to ask you the question, why is that happening? Number one, pay-to-play contracts. Number two, if they mention anything, they will be, they'll have a manufactured file sent on them to go straight to prison and or assassinated. Do you understand? All right. Anyway, don't worry about social media and big tech giants not being taken down. They will not survive. They will not survive. Period. End of story. Once this Great Awakening happens, and I'm thinking it maybe this month, because it's happening before the election. I'm sorry, because John's going to be campaigning. Okay? And he's the one who's worked so hard all these years behind the scenes in saving the kids and holding those accountable. And his best friend is Donald Trump. So if you think these two men aren't in that, you got another thing coming. And don't forget Kennedy, who said, anytime our country makes a wrong, we are responsible for turning that wrong into a right and exposing where we made the wrong and letting the people know and having full transparency. If we have full transparency, which is exactly what we are going to do, there is no way that any citizenry anywhere in the world would allow Facebook, YouTube, or Google to continue with its doors open. And no government is going to do it either once they expose all these crimes against humanity. And United States is going to be that government to expose them all. Okay? Anyway, much love to all of you. I'm sorry that it's so serious, but that's just the way it is. We've been busy and looking the other way. And so just like Germany, this is where we are. History repeats itself. And this is exactly where we are today. So please turn your media off, turn your Fox off, turn your media off. Go to X22 Report. Periodically, I will throw up a list of all Q tubers that are trusted in putting out accurate information based on the 8 intelligent apparatuses that we are getting information from, and then we can all be on the same page. The truth, not this smoke screen, corruption, misinformation, warm, fuzzy rainbows, kittens bubble. It's time to come out from underneath the rock. For quite frankly, your life and the lives of your family depend upon it. But I will tell you this. We have to wake up our American people, because if they don't know how what the truth is, then they're really not going to know how to vote either. Because fact of the matter is, there's one side that wants you dead, and there's one side that wants to save humanity. You need to choose now, and you need to be able to know what's going on all around you, the truth, not this rainbows and kittens fluff, fluff, fluff. Shee shee poo poo fluff fluff fluff. All you got to do is work, and buy your material things and take care of your family, and then side with the news on any narrative that they push you. Okay? Use logical thinking. Go to the Q drops. They will make you research. They will make you use logical thinking. And if you're not into that, that's fine. Go to X22 Report, and he'll break it all down for you in a nice 30-minute segment. But you've got to know what's going on around you, or you're not going to be able to vote for the right person to save the life of you and your families and your generations to come. Time is now. It's no longer a spectator sport. You need to get active. You see something wrong, you need to get online and report it. Period. Expose these little bastards for what they are. Expose them. All right. Anyway, thank you so much. You take care of you and have yourself a wonderful day. Much love. And remember, where we go one, we go all. Thank you.